Welcome to our college briefing show. Today, we're diving into some exciting college football action and a powerful wave of protests across the United States. First up, Missouri pulled off a nail-biting double overtime victory against Auburn, thanks to Beau Pribula's incredible 3-yard touchdown run that sealed the deal. The game was a roller coaster, with Missouri's defense stepping up big time, and Pribula throwing for 252 yards. Next, we turn to Oregon's stunning 56-10 blowout over Rutgers, marking their 10th consecutive road win. Dante Moore led the Ducks with 4 touchdowns, showing they're back on track after their first loss. Lastly, across the pond, millions of Americans took to the streets in peaceful protests, demanding accountability and defending democracy. From New York to Los Angeles, the message was clear: people are standing up for their rights. Please continue to watch for more details. The Toronto Star vividly captures the dramatic showdown between Missouri and Auburn, where Beau Pribula's heroic 3-yard touchdown run in the second overtime clinched a 23-17 victory for the number 16 Tigers. Missouri, bouncing back from a defeat to Alabama, showcased resilience with Ahmad Hardy's crucial 58-yard dash and 2 scores, anchoring the team's offensive effort. The game was a tense battle, with Auburn's Jackson Arnold throwing for 207 yards and Jeremiah Cobb rushing for 111 yards. But Auburn's offense faltered repeatedly, missing key field goals and struggling to capitalize on opportunities. Missouri's stout defense thwarted Auburn's final drive in overtime, securing their first road win of the season and hinting at a potential rise in the AP Top 25 rankings. The Toronto Star reports that number 8 Oregon, after suffering its first loss of the season, unleashed a commanding 56-10 victory over Rutgers, demonstrating their offensive firepower and resilience. Dante Moore was exceptional, passing for 290 yards and 4 touchdowns, while Noah Whittington's 125 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns fueled the Ducks' dominant performance. Oregon's offense amassed a staggering 750 total yards, including 8 plays over 30 yards, highlighting their explosive capabilities. Rutgers, plagued by offensive struggles and constant pressure on quarterback Ethan Kaliakmanis, could only muster 202 yards, extending their long-standing drought of beating ranked opponents to 16 years, a stark contrast to Oregon's relentless attack. In a decisive and commanding display, McNeese State ended a 5-game losing streak with a 27-0 shutout over Houston Christian, led by quarterback Jake Strong's 3 rushing touchdowns and efficient passing. Strong's dual threat kept the Cowboys competitive, rushing for 108 yards and passing for 133, despite 1 interception. Fabrizio Pinton contributed with 2 field goals, sealing the victory for McNeese. Houston Christian's Zyshawn Edwards tried to keep pace with 130 rushing yards, but the team struggled offensively, unable to penetrate McNeese's defense. This victory not only snapped their losing streak but also reinforced McNeese's dominance in the series since 2017, showcasing their resilience and determination to turn their season around. CNN reports that Iran's middle class, historically a pillar of political moderation, stability, and reform, has been rapidly shrinking under the weight of Western sanctions since 2012. These sanctions have decimated Iran's economy, causing inflation rates to soar to 42.4%, and raising prices of everyday goods like rice and chicken to unprecedented levels. The economic disparity between the wealthy elite and the impoverished majority has widened dramatically, fueling societal resentment and deepening the divide. The study highlights that, without sanctions, Iran's middle class could have grown by 17%, but instead, it shrank by 28%, with millions falling into poverty. This erosion of the middle class undermines political stability and reform efforts, as the societal fabric frays, and the political landscape shifts from reformist demands to survival-driven protests, often led by the working class. The sanctions, while aimed at pressuring the government, have instead targeted the very segment of society that historically championed change, leading to increased inequality, social unrest, and a weakened capacity for organized political engagement. Yahoo US details the surge of mass protests across the United States against President Donald Trump, with nearly 7 million participants in approximately 2,700 cities and towns. These demonstrations, part of the No Kings movement, express deep concerns over what protesters perceive as Trump's authoritarian tendencies and threats to democracy. In New York City alone, police estimated 100,000 participants in peaceful marches, with similar large-scale protests in Washington, Boston, Atlanta, and other major cities. Protesters carried banners with slogans like "No King" and "Democracy Not Dictatorship," emphasizing their fears that Trump's administration is undermining democratic norms and empowering unchecked executive authority. The protests have become more frequent and widespread during his second term, reflecting growing public discontent and anxiety about the future of American democracy. Despite the scale, authorities reported no violence or arrests, underscoring the movement's peaceful nature but also highlighting the persistent divisions and concerns that define contemporary American political life. South China Morning Post presents a critique of Britain's obsession with Chinese espionage, sparked by the collapse of a high-profile spy case involving alleged Chinese agents. The media frenzy and political accusations have fueled suspicion against Chinese nationals, institutions, and even ordinary students, portraying them as potential spies. The author argues that this paranoia is rooted in anti-China sentiment, partisan politics, and a distorted perception of threat, rather than concrete intelligence. The case involved a teacher and a parliamentary researcher, neither of whom could have provided significant intelligence, exposing the superficiality of Britain's spy fears. The narrative reflects broader anxieties about China's rise and Britain's own insecurity, which has led to a cycle of moral panic that distracts from pragmatic engagement. Instead of confronting the realities of economic dependence and strategic necessity, Britain remains trapped in a culture of suspicion, mistaking cultural and educational exchanges for espionage, and undermining its own interests in a shifting global landscape. The article calls for a move away from paranoia towards sober diplomacy, emphasizing that Britain's real challenge is its own insecurity rather than an actual espionage threat. The Cherokee Nation's commitment to nurturing their future is vividly illustrated through the recent dedication of their new Indian Child Welfare (ICW) headquarters in Tahlequah. This new facility is more than just an office, it's a powerful symbol of sovereignty and a sanctuary of hope, designed to better serve and protect Cherokee children and families. The building provides a much-needed space for caseworkers and therapists to collaborate effectively, conduct private family visits, and create a nurturing environment where children can learn, play, and heal amidst symbols of their cultural identity. This expansion signifies a profound act of self-determination, emphasizing the tribe's dedication to restoring hope, reconnecting families, and ensuring that Cherokee children feel a sense of belonging rooted in their heritage, values, and community. In the realm of college football, the story of Sylvester's standout performance for Weber State highlights the thrill of the game and the resilience of student athletes. Sylvester's 135 rushing yards and a touchdown helped propel Weber State to a commanding 43-27 victory over Portland State, showcasing his ability to make impactful plays early in the second half. The game was marked by a dominant rushing attack, with the Wildcats amassing 220 yards on the ground, and featured a notable 20-yard pick six by Ashawn Daniels, adding to the excitement. Meanwhile, Portland State struggled offensively, with quarterback John Kiwi Sagapalutial throwing 3 interceptions, underscoring the Wildcats' defensive prowess and their ability to capitalize on turnovers to secure their win. Meanwhile, Prairie View A&M's football team demonstrated their dominance in the Southwestern Athletic Conference with a convincing 24-3 victory over Southern. Led by Lamahea McDowell, who scored 2 touchdowns, the Panthers maintained an undefeated conference record, emphasizing their resilience and offensive strength. McDowell's early 15-yard touchdown set the tone, and the team's consistent scoring, culminating with a late-game 1-yard run, sealed their victory. Quarterback Cameron Peters threw for 224 yards, and the team's balanced attack kept Southern on the defensive throughout the game. This win not only reflects Prairie View A&M's dominance on the field but also their ongoing pursuit of excellence within their conference, embodying perseverance and team spirit. The Toronto Star vividly captures Southeastern Louisiana's commanding victory over Northwestern State, highlighting Brandon Hayes' electrifying 83-yard kickoff return to start the second half, which ignited the Lions' relentless offensive surge. Deantrey Jackson's trio of touchdowns, including rushing and receiving scores, showcased the Lions' offensive prowess, while their dominant defense held Northwestern State to a mere 96 yards and no points, marking their second consecutive shutout, the first since 1960. The story paints a picture of a team in peak form, outgaining their opponents 402-96, with Jackson's versatile performance and Jack Hunter's impressive punting standing out as symbols of their comprehensive dominance. In a tense battle at Arkansas Pine Bluff, the Toronto Star narrates Trey Bradford's heroic late-game performance that secured Grambling's narrow 20-16 victory. Bradford's 123 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, including the decisive score with 1:42 remaining, exemplify resilience and clutch execution. The game was a defensive slugfest, with Arkansas Pine Bluff's Trey Glimpf kicking 3 fourth-quarter field goals to overturn an early deficit, only for Bradford's game-winning drive to seal the deal. The narrative emphasizes the strategic grind and individual heroics that define college football's thrilling unpredictability, with Bradford's late heroics serving as the defining moment. The report from the Toronto Star details Ness Davis's dominant performance for Duquesne, rushing for 158 yards and a touchdown in a commanding 37-0 victory over Missy Hest. Davis's explosive runs, including a 59-yard touchdown, jump-started the Duke's offensive onslaught from the opening drive. The story highlights Duquesne's suffocating defense, which limited Missy Hest to just 12 yards rushing and 118 total yards, while their offense amassed 439 yards. Davis's leadership and the team's overall dominance are portrayed as a testament to their cohesive effort, with the game serving as a showcase of Duquesne's potent rushing attack and stout defensive unit. The Maine Monitor, renowned for its investigative journalism, celebrated a remarkable night at the Maine Press Association's awards banquet, with Rose Lundy being named Maine's Journalist of the Year. Her dedication to uncovering the systemic neglect within Maine's aging care facilities, especially during her extensive investigation into the state's residential care oversight, exemplifies her commitment to public health and accountability. Lundy's meticulous work, which involved door-to-door visits and deep dives into hundreds of reports, led to significant policy discussions, including Maine's first major update to care regulations in over 15 years. The Maine Monitor also received accolades for their digital excellence and impactful reporting on issues like child care safety violations, environmental concerns, and minority community issues, with a total of 221 awards since 2015, highlighting their influential role in Maine's journalism landscape. Meanwhile, the Toronto Star covered the impressive performance of Tennessee Tech's football team, where quarterback Kikoa Vesperas led the undefeated Eagles with a dynamic display of skill, throwing 3 touchdowns and rushing for another in a game marked by weather delays. Their commanding 52-28 victory over Lindenwood secured Tennessee Tech's longest active winning streak in the FCS, cementing their status as a formidable force in college football this season. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
News breaks, buzz the ground, stories spit, walls come down. Voices merge in the sound, faces mix in the crowd. Broadcasters paint the scene, world events on our screen. Every link a different theme, words collide in the stream. 6 degrees connect the dots, background stories more than us. Hear the voices rise aloft, truth unveils in every spot. Cultures clash across the globe, spin the threads in a stroke. Every story wears a robe, truth and lies in their code. Journalistic real deep, secrets out they don't sleep. Every angle they will keep, in the news we take a leap. New perspectives day by day, hidden truths come to play. In the background shades of gray, every story finds its way. Perspectives day by day, hidden truths come to play. In the background shades of gray, every story
Cultures. I count. What really or do not. What enough to be you. Everything and ever. What enough enough to what enough enough to what enough 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 enough